Okay, so this was another wild arena run that like I'd made a bunch of decisions that did not make sense, but I think it's a pretty entertaining arena run. So, yeah, that's why I decided to show it. This was done on stream, so that's why you can see chat, and it's in a little bit lower quality. Got a pretty good start. So Oth and Modder. Wait, what did I just say? Moth and Otter go well together, I think. Also, maybe Toucan. But really, I think the Moth is just a great starting unit. Plus 3 attack is just so nice. And then the Otter buffs can be pretty good as well. Get that plus 2 if you can get it to level 2, which would be quite an advantage. Uh, yeah, so I wasn't really. I initially was actually trying to go for a rhino run, which you'll see I do end up taking the rhino, but I kind of end up pivoting into tapirs, and tapirs are just so good right now. Like they have multiple purposes. One, you can just take them and pill them and get an immediate copy of whatever unit you want. So it's pretty much like chocolate, except it's tier 4, and so that's pretty good. It does cost 4 gold though. But you can pill in like front of an ox and get extra stats too. So yeah, that's pretty helpful. Or you can also do it with the summon build. So there's a bunch of broken ways to go for it. You can do like, I mean, there's obviously the taper butterfly. If you don't know, that's kind of, I feel like that's just a bug though. I'm sure they'll patch that out. But you can go like taper orca, taper eagle. There's just a lot of broken things. And then if you put a one up on it, then like if you think about a summon build, instead of just spawning like the orca spawning two things or the eagle spawning a random tier 6, now you have a tapir that's going to spawn another tapir, which is going to spawn that eagle, which is going to spawn the tier 6. So you end up getting a ridiculous amount of summons from them, and it's so good. Do I think that they should actually be nerfed? I don't know. Probably. They're so good right now, but there's a lot of things that could potentially be nerfed, and they don't really have to if they don't want to. Um, Kind of bad ordering there. Probably should have bought the shrimp first. Missed out on one stat, and then the owl hit the shrimp, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. The servers seem to be a little bit slow. But dog, so early dog. This is a custom pack. I probably should mention this, and so it's a buy sell pack, which I've just been using. It's the only pack that I've created, and it's been working out really well. So, yeah, just taking dog, taking buffalo, taking like chicken, all that kind of stuff is really advantageous and can give you some pretty insane stats pretty quickly. So, was pretty happy to see early dog. I already have it to 7-7, and I guess like early bison's probably a bit better, or not bison. Early buffalo is probably a bit better. It's just like kind of insane how good buffalo is. They probably so they tried to nerf it. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but originally it was on buy it gained +1/+1, and now it's on sell. But the thing is, there's things like platypus and chinchilla and stuff like that that actually make it so you get multiple triggers off of the buffalo now. So it's actually more of a buff than it is a nerf. The only thing is like when you buy a unit and then end turn, you don't get that buff for that turn, but it's still just so good. So I bought an ox there and then decided to change my mind and just go all in on the dog scaling. Double dog and get an owl. Pretty nice. Along with shrimp and another dog. Wow. So like by selling that owl gave us two stats for the dog, +4/+4, and then +1 from the shrimp. So a lot of scaling just from buying that owl. And there's a lot of buy sell stuff. Chinchilla is actually just the best. Chinchilla has made buy sell so much better along with the goldfish. It gives such efficient stats. Tapir spider. There's also you can go like tapir deer, which seems pretty good on tier 4, and yeah, so that's pretty nice. But there's a lot of interesting things you can taper, as you'll see in this run. Probably already spoiled with the thumbnail, but you know, let's just pretend that you didn't see the thumbnail and you randomly blindly clicked on this video without knowing what it was. So early tapir, I haven't even heard of a tapir. Like, what the heck is that? I googled it. Apparently, it's like a pig, kind of, except it's not a pig because it's different. It's a tier 4 and not a tier 1. That's the difference. Melon armor, really nice. Unfortunately, the stats are kind of skewed towards health. This happens sometimes with shrimp, also just like somewhat bad RNG. Usually prefer to have like a 23-10 over a 10-23, at least with melon. Otherwise, like without melon is probably better, but also have this moth to give +6 attack. Really, like the moth is like a 5-1, which is probably like some of the highest base stats for a tier 1. So pretty good stats. 1623 already. Saw a wasp there. I think wasp is really bad. I have seen people try it and it has like never worked. Uh, I think an interesting build could be a praying mantis build. That's another new unit. It's pretty much like giving free pills, but you got to make sure that you always have something to actually sacrifice, which can be a little bit tricky. Like the only thing in pack 3 with the praying mantis is like I was taking doves and I was taking like blobfishes, and that was pretty much all I could manage to actually buy. And the scaling isn't that good. It's like a bison kind of, but again, you're spending 3 gold to buy something useless, and then you're also not getting that gold back, so you're kind of wasting like 4 gold a turn for +2/+2. I don't feel like it's that worth it unless if you actually have good feint abilities. But there are some cool synergies you could maybe do with that. Like I could try out going shark, ox, praying mantis. That could be fun. Or like double praying mantis or triple praying mantis. Then you'd only have to sacrifice 2 things a turn. How bad could that be? Anyway, yeah, so Tapir, most of the time I just end up freezing pills, but I knew that I wanted Rhino and I was looking for cans on this turn, so that's the reason I didn't freeze this pill. But if you can get level 2 Tapir, then immediately you can like get a chicken on turn 5, pill it, and then you'll have pretty much a level 3 chicken, and your scaling can go out of control. It's with like chicken scaling, get 50/50s in like a few turns. Pretty crazy. So Platypus is another nice buy sell unit. It's too bad it spawns a duck over the beaver. Would much prefer the beaver, but what are you gonna do? Looking for another Tapir here. Don't get it, but that's okay. Could take a lollipop. Like, it doesn't really help out this team to switch the dog stats. I mean, it's close enough. So yeah, next turn, turn 5, unlock chocolates, unlock other good things, and yeah, looking for Rhino, but I actually don't really want Rhino because Rhino's terrible. But the build that I was trying to go for, I guess I can mention, was with Tiger, Rhino, and then a pineapple on the Rhino for 2 extra damage. It's pretty much like nothing. But you could also add a lionfish onto that team, and so that was kind of the plan: is go lionfish, tiger, rhino with pineapple. It never ended up working, sadly. It turns out people with custom packs have good teams, and it's hard to beat them with a lot of meme teams. Alright, level 2 Tapir, pretty lucky. Early tier 6 is a tiger. And I have the rhino, so I'm like, yes, I absolutely high rolled, got everything I wanted. How bad could it be to get tiger rhino on turn 9, right? It's gotta be good. Please, please let it be good. There's not really that many summon teams either. Uh, like there was a good amount of vulture teams before vulture got nerfed, but no longer see too many of those either. And the builds that are summon builds usually are abusing the tapir and can be pretty much impossible to actually beat. It's kind of unfair. But hopefully I can scale up this rhino enough to where it would actually deal damage. I was also trying to get a tiger rhino build with white tiger. So instead of actually trying to get level 3s, I just go tiger rhino with a white tiger and then hopefully get that to level 2 so both the tiger and the rhino would become level 3. And if I go tiger rhino and they're both level 3, that deals 24 damage. Put a pineapple on that, that's 28 damage. Pretty impressive, right? I mean, that's assuming you actually kill anything. And if it doesn't kill something, it's probably just going to trade. But there we go. So I'm going with Tiger Tapir right now with the Rhino in the back. So such a strange strat. The Tapir spits out 2 Rhinos, one level 2, one level 1. But the other Rhino also has a Tiger behind it. So kind of a interesting little synergy. Zebra, great buy sell unit. That's another addition. Like you get +2/+2 plus whatever stats you're getting from the dog or buffalo that you have. I wanted to put a pineapple on the tapir, but that wouldn't do anything, of course. So I'll instead just look for a 1-up next turn. Okay, a turkey. So since the tapir is spawning the things, I can get +3/+3 to both of those rhinos, which is pretty nice. Why not take it? Sadly, there's not really room to go like parrot turkey, unless if I want to sell the dog. But the dog is pretty much the only thing keeping this team alive. All right. Let's see. Looks like another win. Look at that. And the rhino finishes off that poodle. Just beautiful. So helpful. The rhino's got to be like one of the worst units in the game, but is also one of the most satisfying. What a weird conundrum that is. Why did they do that to us? Okay. I decided to sell the thing that was keeping my team alive because you know what? Why stay alive when you can just die? Great victory with Tiger Tapir Rhino. Uh, and then I realized when I bought this cow, I don't really care about buffing any of these things. Buffing the tapir won't really matter because the what I care about is the spawns. I just classically misclicked. I was trying to buff the tiger, but accidentally gave it to the turkey. It didn't really matter. There's the 1-up, so that's very helpful. So now instead of just spawning 2 rhinos, it will spawn 2 rhinos and a tapir, which will also spawn another rhino. So I'll get a third rhino even, which is pretty cool. It also means I have to put it in the third spot though, which means I can no longer put the turkey in back because I need the rhino in the back. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And I'm trying to decide what to actually do here because I don't think this team is very good. Like, there's pretty much no chance this team wins. Let's just be honest. This team is garbage. But even like a weak summon team, what chances do I have? I am spawning a double base stat rhino. I don't even remember what the base stat rhino is. Is it like a 5-8? So spawn like a 12, 10, 16 or something? That's not very good either. I should actually pay attention. And we're going against a crab. Yeah, it is a 10, 16. And we got to spawn 2 10, 16s. Look at this battle. The rhino versus the crab. Sadly, the crabs went out. Just like in real life, if rhinos and crabs were to fight. Okay. Early tier 6, except it's not early because it's turn 12, so just a normal tier 6 is a snake. And I was thinking, like, okay, this is clearly not going to work. As much as I want it to, like, we're just going to lose the next 2 rounds. So maybe instead I pivot, and I decide to pivot to tapir snake and tiger the tapir. So this allows me to put the rhino in the front and 3 gold left. Pretty much all these options are pretty terrible. But hey, mosquito can pop a melon or a pepper. So maybe it is the best decision. And yeah, you'll get to see this beautiful team. So let's see what happens. So the tapirs spawn a bunch of level 2 snakes, 3 in fact, and they all get to trigger off of each other. Plus you got the snake in the back that killed that starfish. Man, was that beautiful. That was so good. I love to see it. So what an insane pivot. After having such a terrible team, suddenly the tiger tapir 1-up with snake is actually kind of doing something. Pineapple could pineapple a lot of things here. I was thinking about pineappling a tiger, but I figured that wouldn't do anything. It's probably, yeah, it would only work if you pineapple the thing in front of it. And so the other option is to pineapple the rhino or the snake in the back. And I decided, why not go rhino? Like, that was the initial plan. Why give up on the dreams of going with a giant rhino? It's a whole 915. No way that dies on turn 13, right? I put a 1-up on the snake just in case it gets sniped, also I guess for trades. And the Stegosaurus is just a nice little temporary attack buff and health buff, plus 13, plus 13. And I ran into a tiger, whale, deer, but like they swallowed 2 things, so they kind of messed up. And look at that. The rhino actually did something. And then look at those. Oh, it's just so beautiful. And that's it. That's 10 wins. Can you believe this team got 10 wins? I can't believe it. But there seems to be a lot of fun things you can do with Tiger Tapir. So, I don't know. We'll probably see more of this in the future. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.